Hello, everybody. Robert Aducci here, and today we on Ulysses Worlds we have a special guest. Today's guest is a gamer who is featured on Bloomberg.com, a streamer for Total Party Chill Games, and co-founder of Startplaying.Games. Devon Chulik has also founded the Tavern Personals app, which we'll get to shortly. Welcome, Devon.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for
Good,
having me
good.
here.
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for being a guest here today. So the last year and a half has been a roller coaster for all of us. You were featured in a 2019 Bloomberg article with the title "The Rise of the Professional Dungeon Master." What effect has everything kind of had? Has the article had on your awareness of pro GMing?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. After the article came out, I saw it shared everywhere, and it was kind of cool just to see, like, oh my gosh, this is like trending in the tabletop world.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. And then a lot of people started messaging me. A lot of GMs started like, hey, how can I do this? What's the thing? What do I need to do?
Yeah.
And that was very cool to like start connect with all these other dungeon masters that wanted to do the same thing.
And you're in the Bay Area, right? And so you had been
Correct.
kind of doing pro GMing there in person, but then of course, 6 months later the pandemic hit, and that was devastating for all of our in-person games. So how did you handle that?
It's actually really funny. So I was like, I'm gonna wait. At first I was like, I'll wait. We're supposed to be in lockdown for 3 weeks, so I'll wait
Yeah,
till
right.
after and start doing that again. When it started to become evident that the pandemic was gonna last a lot longer, I actually already started working on Startplaying.Games. I actually started working on Start Playing a week after the pandemic started, and I knew that there's just so many people that play online. I was like, we just got to get if you're not already doing it, you just got to get accustomed to it. It's just like adding another tool to your tool set.
So what is Startplaying.Games?
Startplay.Games is a place for players and GMs to connect over with professional game masters. So a lot of game masters are out there, and it's very hard to find them. You could look through forums, you could look through Discord servers, you can look on Reddit, but none of that makes it easy. And so we created a set of tools where you could just see like, hey, what games are running at what time and who's running them, along with reviews. And we handle all the payments, so you don't have to worry about any fraud, and we kind of cover things if anything happens. So we wanted to take the idea of finding a professional game master and make it very accessible.
So I think, given that, yeah, we are in this pandemic now, it's just been over a year now, and tons of people have been playing online. But for those people that are still sort of, maybe haven't done it yet, how is kind of running and playing games online, excuse me, different than in person?
I think online there's a bit more that you need to focus on because if people don't have their cameras on, you can't see their facial reactions. Which I love it when people have their cameras. I like to see like how are
Definitely.
you responding to this. Same like at a table, but also you have the classic thing that like, oh, you're muted, like, oh, oops.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to overcome, but it's also very easy. It's so much easier to game online a lot of times because you don't have to worry about schedules as much or commuting or getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those are barriers. Like when people are at home, they're like, oh, can I get up and go over there? Rather, it's like, I'm just going to jump on the computer.
Right.
So it lowers the barrier for entry for a lot of people.
Yeah, I've been playing online, and that's kind of how we met. You and I met through running games and playing games online. And I've been on Startplaying.Games kind of since the beginning, and it's been really great to see the platform evolve. And this last week, marks a huge milestone for Startplaying.Games. What did you guys do over there?
Woo! We launched our new platform. So what we did is we had built our entire website and our core product on a development platform, and we grew out of it. It wasn't big enough to actually handle all of the complexities we want to create in our future products. And so the site begins to run slower. You start to see bugs show up that are just like created by back end jobs. So we're like, we need to build the site from the ground up on a new tech stack. We did that for about 4 months, almost 5, and it's finally launched. And now it's more secure. It's also wicked fast, and we're able to build features on it a lot faster as well with more complexity. So this is kind of like the beginning of the new era with Start Playing.Games.
Nice. Yeah, congrats on that. I definitely have noticed
Thank
that the
you.
site is much, much faster.
Blazing.
Yeah, it is so fast. So if anybody in the chat here, if you guys have any questions for Devon about being a professional GM or streaming or any of that stuff, feel free to ask it, and we'll get to those. So let's not tiptoe around the elephant in the room here. Online gameplay is definitely dominated by D&D. It's the foundational game of our industry, and it's everywhere. So how do other games get a foothold in the mindshare of gamers online, do you think? How can we do that?
There's a couple ways. One is game masters are the influencers. When we ran a big event for the Roll20 folks for their Burn Bright, and we realized that a lot of these GMs that were running activations and playing Burn Bright have a player base. That player base likes playing with that GM. When that GM's like, hey, I'm going to be running this game, everyone's like, oh, yeah, that sounds fun. I'd love to try that out. That's what's getting people playing other games, because they trust this GM. They have fun with this GM, and they want to play with them. So GMs are inherently the most effective tool to get new players, and that's just kind of, I think that's always been the case. You've always had that friend that's like, let me show you this really cool game.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you, and you're like, oh yeah, this guy. Oh my gosh, this person. They're always great with game recommendations, and I can't wait to play with them. So I think that is where the most power lies with getting people to play new games. The other is trying to reduce onboarding as much as possible. So the theory is, why does some board games and people don't want to play these board games when, like, generally they probably have fun playing them, but when you start to read this rule book, you're like, oh god, this is just so much. That's why, like, when I teach games, I usually don't explain the character sheet until we start playing. And even when we're playing, like, I'm like, don't look at this yet. Just tell me how you respond to the scenario, and then I'll tell you, like, where to look on your character sheet to how to resolve that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we can be better about onboarding our players onto games, it's going to be a lot easier for them to try different games. And then something that I do with my home games with my friends to get them to play other games is I have one-shots that kind of coexist in our persistent campaigns that involve different game systems. So I really wanted to have them play Blades in the Dark.
Nice.
So we're playing a fantasy D&D campaign, but I was like, okay, well, we're gonna go over. We're gonna play one shot. Here's all your characters. I create you pre-gen, another great way to onboard people quickly. And you are that thieves guild that you ran into 6 months ago, and you are all the different characters from that thieves guild. You need to steal this item because you need to get it to the characters, their actual group. So they're like, oh, we're playing. This is connected to our story, and we need to do this for our characters. So they're playing a different game system, and they absorb it really quickly because it's part of their campaign. So I think those are really powerful tools to, like, get people playing other systems.
Yeah, I really like that idea of moving your campaign to other games, so you keep it alive as part of your game, and you keep the mind share of your players, and that's a great idea. When I first heard you mention that, I think in the Start Playing Discord, I was like, oh, that's amazing! It's such a great idea. So if somebody wants to become a professional GM, they want to share their love of GMing with other people, how would they do that on Start Playing Games?
They have to first beat me in single combat. No, it's very easy. You go to the website, you sign up for an account. After you've created an account, you can sign up as a GM. Now that allows you to list games and to start getting reviews. But being a professional GM is not hard in the sense of, like, there's not a lot of barriers. You just have to put in the work. And I see all the prep GMs do for their games, so I know GMs are not new to the idea of work.
Yeah.
But that works is, like, when you start having players come to join your games, like, you have to be responsive. These are your clients now. You have to be like, hey, all right, here's when the game's gonna start. And the thing is, you have your regular players. You're like, all right, we're starting at 5, and they're like 5:30, like everyone's finally there, and like all chit chat. But when you're running these paid games, people are like, I'm so ready to play. I want to play. I've spent money because I want to play with y'all so bad. So you have this really engaged player base, and you still have some players that are going to be flaky, but it lends towards way more invested.
Definitely.
And that's great. So you as a GM, Like, be responsive, be ready with all your stuff, but also realize you're still a game master. You've been doing this. You've probably been doing this for at least, a month to a year to 10 years to 20 years.
Hmm.
But you are doing this because people have had fun with your games. And so if you look at this group and you try to make sure they have fun, you're going to do great.
Definitely, definitely. I think, I get that, people ask me that a lot, like, how, what's the difference? And it's like, well, honestly, there's not a whole lot of difference in the actual game because when I run games for fun, I still try to do my best anyways because we're trying to, everyone's still trying to have fun. The difference really, I think, is just that especially for online games, like you said, you guys, you can find lots of online games. But what happens is if, maybe the GM's not that into it, they're just doing it because they're bored and they want to do something. And so they're just kind of, they show up, or maybe the players sometimes don't really show up. They're, people will sign up because if it's free, they just sign up and then they don't show up. But when you put a little bit of a price on there, then it makes it a lot, players will show up if they're paying. And so it also helps because I think those players are also more invested in the game, and so like I get a lot more kind of player feedback and interaction from players that are willing to pay a little bit. It helps make the game more fun for everyone.
Totally agree. Yeah.
So so it's if you want to sign up, you can go to startplaying.games and you can sign up there. Now the reason we have Devon on here is because we are partnering with startplaying.games for our monthly Ulisses Con. This weekend we're having our Ulisses Con Vegas, and it's called Vegas because we were supposed to, before the pandemic hit, this was going to be the weekend that we had an actual in-person con in Las Vegas for all of our games. That didn't really work out due to the pandemic, and so we're still planning to do that next year, but we want to kind of get it in the minds of everybody that we will be doing this next year. And so for this weekend, we teamed up with StartPlaying.Games, and a bunch of GMs are running our intro games for Fading Suns, The Dark Eye, and Torg Eternity. And if you want to sign up for those games, which are all free, we're paying the GMs. Ulisses is paying the GMs to run the games. So go ahead, go there. I just posted startplaying.games/Ulisses, and you can sign up for those games. Now, in addition to Start Playing Games, you've also recently announced a really great thing called Tavern Personals. Tell us about the Tavern Personals video.
Listen, your characters, you're always looking for that one more character to join your party, and it's very hard to find those people. You usually have to go to the tavern and you have to talk with everyone and interview potential heroes to join your party. Tavern Personals, we take care of that for you. Instead, you're presented all these beautiful matches. You need to swipe left or swipe right until you find the one that is the right fit for you. You can look at character sheets, see where their strengths are, see. You could also see what their goals are. I mean, if you're looking for someone else that's a bit of an edgelord and you want to just team up and have two edgelord vibes, go for it. It's for April Fools, we wanted to do something fun, and so me, Start Playing, Total Pride Chill, and the fine folks at Warhorn, we got together and built a fake app, which is called Tavern Personals, where the idea is like instead of players trying to match the players, it'd be really fun if you were like thinking about adventuring parties trying to match with a person to join them.
Yeah, so I just posted the link there in the chat. Also, you got to watch the video; it's really funny. It was a great April Fool's joke. So you make that, you said in partnership with as part of Total Party Chill. So tell us about that. What is Total Party Chill?
Yeah, that's my own channel. Me and my my 7 friends, we've been playing for 5-something years, and one day a friend of ours who works at Twitch was playing with us. He was like, "Wow, you ever thought about streaming your games? Your game was really fun just to sit and be a guest in." I was like, I hadn't, and so we were like, "Oh, let's try it out." So we spent a month thinking about it, and we started streaming, and it just kind of blew up for us. And we're like, "Whoa, this is fun!" And now we've been able to do so many cool things because of that. That we all still play every Sunday at 5 to play D&D or whatever game we're playing that week. Yeah, so Total Party Chill is kind of like my excuse to like do fun things with my friends. But it's like become to the size where like it generates good money with all the different projects we do, so we can actually continue to like make cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like we had a comic book that has
Nice.
been illustrated that we're going to publish, and then we have like an album coming out this year of D&D songs. That's like kind of more Knight's Tale than it is, you know, like a loot cover. You know, we wanted to make anachronistic music for our D&D games.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's become this platform where like all the fun D&D stuff I've wanted to do outside of just playing with my friends, we're able to do. So we do actual plays, and we do fun unboxings, and just create fun D&D stuff and fun tabletop RPG stuff.
Nice. I like looking at the website. I like the quote from your mom that says "best D&D show out there." Actually, third best.
My mom's a hard critic.
Apparently.
She's a hard critic.
I like your group picture here. Everyone is in denim. That's great too.
Oh yeah, that's like I don't know why that's a thing, but we just thought we could be like a denim gang.
That's really funny.
We all have denim jackets with our patches on them.
There you go. There you go. So looking at in the chat here, HDI Andrew, who's Andrew Greenberg, who's one of our one of the creators of Fading Suns. He asks, you know, you said in order to become a pro GM they had to fight you. So he says, does Devon accept Batleth challenges?
Oh, I have a response to that. Which I believe in Klingon means today is a good day to die.
There you go. There you go. I think you've been called out, Andrew. It's on. It's gonna be our first Ulysses pay-per-view special. Devon versus Andrew. Nice.
We'll bring honor to both of our houses.
There you go. Andrew says he thought that meant a good day for pie. Yeah.
I know. I might not have got that last like.
Yeah, very similar.
Cleft hit.
Very similar. Nice. Well, thank you, Devon, so much for coming on and talking about Start Playing Games. Again, if you guys want to play some games, you know, any of our games, go to startplaying.games/Ulysses, and you can sign up for our games, which are this weekend starting Friday, continuing through Sunday. And if people want to get a hold of you to find some, you know, Batleth moves, where can they find you online?
You can find me online. I'm almost always on the Total Party Chill Twitter. That's kind of my namesake, even though I have my own. You can find me on the online at Total Party Chill's Twitter, which is twitter.com/TTLPRTYCHLL, because no vowels, because it's just too long with too many vowels. I had to be hip. I had to take out the vowels.
There you go.
Yeah, you can find me there. And of course, you can always reach out if you got questions and you want to become a professional dungeon master. You're always looking for mentoring or anything on that side. Feel free to join the Discord for Startplaying.Games. We're always happy to help you. We have wonderful people like Robert there. I'm happy to help you. A massive community. Thank you again to Ulysses and team for having me on and being a part of this Start Playing weekend. So I appreciate you guys so much.
All right. Well, thanks, Devon. We'll see you in the Discord.
Sounds good.
Talk to you later. Bye. All right. So, you know, thanks to Devon for coming on. That was great. So let's get into Ulisses Worlds today. It's just me. Tim is not able to make it. So, you know, we just talked about Ulisses Con Vegas, and again, you know, we are. You know, we're gonna run the Las Vegas Con next year in Ulysses or in Vegas. So we wanted to kind of, you know, continue the continue the fun, to make sure that people know that it's still happening next year. And so we wanted to make sure that people are playing our games. So that's why we partner with Start Playing Games. We're also going to be doing some panels, and we will have. We have a list of those at the website. I will post that and make a little video here as well. I'm sorry, show you a little image here. Where do we go? Vegas Con panels. So these are the panels. They will be starting. Oh, let me go this way. There we go. They will be starting on Friday. We're going to start at 4:45. Initially, we had this listed at 4, but we're going to do it at 4:45. So it'll be a quick keynote from Tim Brown, kind of talking about what we've been doing for the past year and what we'll be doing for the near future. After that, we'll be having a looking forward to Myth: Dawn of Heroes, which will be Eric Simon talking about awesome things like doors, which he talked about actually before on the Ulisses Worlds show, which was actually a great episode. You would think that there's not much to talk about doors, but there were some cool mechanics, and I know Eric is excited to share a lot more news on Dawn of Heroes. Then following that up at 6 o'clock, there'll be the Dark Eye with Tayo and myself. Then at 7 o'clock, we will be having a Myth lore panel, which will include Ross Watson and Eric Simon. Let's see. It doesn't say the time zones, Andrew says. Okay, so this time zones, oh, yep, I see that it does not include that. All these time zones are for Pacific time, so they're all Pacific time. So 3 hours later for Eastern, or, if you're in Germany, like it's like 8 hours. So after the Myth lore panel, it will be Myth, Tales of Legend, Sojourns, Relics, and Strange Places, which will be Ross Watson and one of the writers for Myth, Tales of Legend. Then on Saturday at 6 o'clock, we'll be having a Fading Suns panel, which will include Andrew Greenberg, who's in the chat there, as well as Bill, and that'll be What's the Future for Fading Suns. And so we'll be talking about the next phase, Wave 2 of Fading Suns, and when that Kickstarter is going to start. We'll definitely have news about that. Followed up by the 7 p.m. Torg Eternity Pan Pacifica and Beyond panel, and then the 8 p.m. Space 1889 panel, which will include Rachel Starwicki, Tim Brown, Daryl Hayhurst, and possibly Frank Chadwick. I don't know if we've heard back from him yet. Let's see. Germany's 9 hours now. Thought it was 8. Yeah. So and then of course, if if it is too late, or if it is I know those later ones are definitely going to be late for folks, and so of course that will be it'll go up the next day on YouTube. So no worries about missing that. We're also going to have some live play games. So on Saturday we're going to have 2 tour games. The first one is going to be at 8 a.m. and so those folks in Germany can definitely join then. But that's going to be the Torg Eternity Aurora actual play with Greg Gordon. Then at 1 o'clock Pacific time, again, Greg is going to continue to run his Eternity and Reign campaign, which he's been running every month. And on Sunday at 8 a.m., Rudy Basso, who ran some Torg Eternity streams for us, is going to run Torg Eternity one more time. And this one's going to be called The Tower, and it's going to be let's see, I've got the description here. I can find it real quick. It says, mysterious tower from another world has appeared in the wreckage of Manhattan, now part of the cosmos known as the Living Land. The tower contains an Eternity Shard, and the Delphi Council needs Storm Knights to get in and get it before the evil Adinas warlord One Eye and his army of warriors grabs it first. So that'll be GM Rudy Basso and players Maria Moore, Grant Ellis, and Nor Enigma. And then that'll be followed up at 1 p.m. by Grant Ellis Presents The Dark Eye, The Shadow Looms at the Golden Hour actual play. And his description for that is unearth mysteries around the Bjornland. This year's bountiful harvest has been interrupted by the supernatural signs and ill omens that accompanying the festivities. Dark truths are about to be revealed as a team of highly competent, heroic investigators come to the village of New Wolzen to discover the secret of the haunted harvest. And that'll include GM Grant Ellis and players Emma Lambert, Noir Enigma, and Rudy Basso. So that'll be we'll be excited to see what happens with those games. So Grant is a great GM and producer, and of course Rudy Basso ran the fantastic kind of 80s style Torg game. So we'll be excited to see what they're up to. So let's see. Just checking out the chat real quick. And let's move on to Fading Suns news. So we have great news, is that the books that we've been waiting for, they were delayed because there was a container shortage, but they are now on a ship to the US. We posted updates on the Kickstarter and Game on Tabletop. You can even track where the actual ship is, and it's scheduled to arrive May 14th. And so once it arrives here, then our partners will start shipping it out to everybody. And I know there were some questions about the Australian and other shipments, and I haven't heard specifically anything about those, but I assume since things are getting put on boats, that they will also be put on a boat shortly, if they're not already. In addition, great Fading Suns news from Angus of Parallel Worlds. So Parallel Worlds is a gaming magazine, and they've got a special deal for Fading Suns fans. So this issue that just came out features an interview with Bill Bridges, where he talks about Fading Suns and his history with in the RPG industry. And so here I got a copy. I got a print copy, which really is a great book. Magazine. They print it via Lightning Source, which is the drive-through RPG printer. And so here's the Fading Suns article with Bill right here. Oh. And then this is the cover. I'll throw this up here. So that's what that's the Parallel Worlds article and cover, and here is the link for that if you want to go grab it from Drive-Thru RPG. Angus is giving us a bargain, physical softcover copy of the Parallel Worlds magazine at a special discount price with that link. So it'll only be for a couple of weeks, so go ahead and snag it up now. As far as streams, Bill Bridges and Andrew Greenberg, who is in here in the chat there, we've been having our Heretical Musings the first and third Thursdays of the month at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. The last episode was about creating characters, and the next one will be about creating antagonists. So definitely check those out if you want to play some, start playing your Fading Suns games. And if you've got Fading Suns and you want to, you haven't had a chance to play it, please, we really want people to fill up those games. I know a lot of the Start Playing games have been filling up for Fading Suns, so definitely check that out. They're intro games. They should just take a couple of hours, and the GMs will kind of walk you through it. So if you read the rules but haven't had a chance to play, definitely check that out again. Now, JM is also, he's continued to run the Crew of the Old Boy through their Fading Suns campaign. They're streaming that every Thursday at 5:30 Pacific, and they're now back to weekly. However, this week is a rerun because JM is on vacation. And let's move on to Torg Eternity. So you can get all of the Tharkle products. They're now in our shop, or you can get them as PDFs on Drive-Thru. With them, the Horseman every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific on Twitch is a live stream, which is followed up by uploads to YouTube. Now, this game is GM by JM Defoe and features Ross Watson, who's the Torg Eternity designer. And you can catch that latest session on YouTube. And last night, Lehman Crafton, who is one of the authors, has been streaming Blood on the Blasted Land. This was their 9th episode. Blood on the Blasted Land is an adventure set in Tharkold. And Lehman is uniquely positioned to write that and to run that because he wrote much of that adventure, and he lived there for a while in Russia in some of those locations. So it's really nice to kind of listen to him talk about, he really gives great details about the descriptions of places, especially obviously ones that he's been to. And so that show is every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. And here is a link for that too, if you're in the chat. Last time, the Storm Knights defeated the mighty Saigon and now possess the Bulava of Sovereignty and Eternity Shard. Find out what they'll do next in their search for Straw. So definitely check that out. We don't have a whole lot of news for the Dark Eye, Myth Dawn of Heroes, Myth Tales of Legend, or Space 1889 because, this weekend there's going to be all of those great panels. So definitely check out those panels. And again, if you can't catch them live, they will be on YouTube. So if anybody has any last minute questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Otherwise, I think that's about going to do it to us for us today. So thanks for watching Ulisses Worlds show. If you'd like to chat more with Ulisses folks or other fans, please check out our Discord community. And if you like this show, please follow and subscribe to our channels on Twitch and YouTube and turn on those notifications so you don't miss anything. So come back tomorrow at 4:45 p.m. Pacific time for a keynote by studio manager Timothy Brown, and then several panels for the next several hours after that. And then after that, come back on Thursday, April 28th at 9 a.m. Pacific for more Ulisses Worlds news. So for Ulisses Worlds, I'm Robert Adducci. Thanks for watching. Bye.